Happy Women's History Month. We are celebrating equality, inclusion, diversity, everything fantastic and fabulous about being the majority of humans on this planet. What's up, Parenting Up family? It's your girl, Jay Smiles. We are about to get into it right now. I'm here at the Sistahs shop.
But then when you dug a little deeper, you learned that, yeah, we're the largest and fastest growing, but we are also the least funded, the least earning, the least supported. I'm like, so yeah, y'all are praising the fact that we're starting all these businesses, but what are we doing to help these businesses grow? What are we doing to help these businesses scale? And so that's why the focus has been on my sisters.
We're about to have a phenomenal conversation on entrepreneurship, commerce, and caregiving. Parenting Up Caregiving Adventures with comedian Jay Smiles is the intense journey of unexpectedly being fully responsible for my mama. For over a decade, I've been chipping away at the unknown, advocating for her, and pushing Alzheimer's awareness on anyone and anything with a heartbeat. Spoiler alert, this shit is heavy. That's why I started doing comedy, so be ready for the jokes. Caregiver newbies, OGs, and village members just willing to prop up a caregiver, you are in the right place.
Hi, this is Zeddy. I hope you enjoy my daughter's podcast. Is that okay?
Today's supporter shout out is from YouTube at Mylene Smith 1683. Being a caregiver often requires putting the needs of others above your own. You are demonstrating your love through your sacrifice! ! Heart emoji. Thank you so much. Now, if you want to receive a supporter shout out, you know what to do. Leave a review on where? Yep, we really want you to do Apple Podcast. That's right. If not, YouTube, IG, that'll work too. Thank you so much. Caregiving and commerce, the delicate balance. What's up, family? You know I get excited when we are on site. Just like that. And boom, today I have a soror of mine. So yes, y'all gonna hate, because we might oop, we might throw up the mid, we might set out a step, and y'all gotta keep watching because you ain't got no choice. It's Women's History Month, and my actual initiation date happens to be on International Women's Day, March 8th. Listen, it's a whole lot of love going on, and we are in the Sistahs shop. And if you don't know about it, you gonna learn today. What's up, Aisha?
Hey, Soror.
That thing sounds so good. It's like the first day I was able to say it,
Yes.
baby. Now, let me tell y'all why we chose this phenomenal soror of mine for this episode. Yeah, she's a Delta. Girl. So that makes it all extra juicy and fabulous for me. She's an entrepreneur. But this is the Parenting Up This is the Parenting Up podcast. Y'all, her mama has Alzheimer's. Did y'all know that? How many of y'all knew that? You may or may not have known that. She is so busy in these entrepreneur streets selling stuff and helping y'all sell stuff you may not have known. Not only is she a mother, she is a caregiver. She is smack dab in that sandwich generation. She has a little one, and she has a mom who has Alzheimer's. So we about to dig into all of that, pull it apart, and figure out how my soror holds it all together with them 5 glasses. Y'all ready? All right.
I knew you was coming, so I had to find something in the crate.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Okay, we're going to get all into the Sistahs shop. Currently, we are sitting in her brick-and-mortar, but we are going all online, right?
Yes.
We getting rid of this just so that she can give you all more options and get it to you to service it faster. So don't worry about figuring out what the address is. we're going to go to the .com. That's how you're going to get to her.
That's right.
But now we're going to ease into your mom.
Yeah.
Okay? Parenting Up Podcast is around how do we fortify ourselves as caregivers to be there for our loved ones. How long has your mom had Alzheimer's?
So, the progression, right, doesn't start as Alzheimer's. So we actually began to see, the early signs of dementia over 10 years ago.
Really?
Even maybe a little longer than that, maybe 12 years ago, if not more. Unfortunately, the disease has been prevalent in my family. So my mom was not the first. I certainly pay honor to and respect the memory of my aunt, my mom's sister, and one of her best friends who also had Alzheimer's and passed away in 2016. My uncle, also many years ago, suffered with Alzheimer's and passed away. So our family wasn't unfamiliar with the disease, unfortunately. But yeah, my mom has been dealing with it well over 10 to 12 years, if not more.
Y'all heard aunt. That's that Brooklyn coming out, okay? So I just want...
Yeah, period.
We in the ATL right now, but aunt, you know what I mean? And that's good, because my dad is from Queens,
What
so
y'all
I
say,
love
aunt?
it.
What is it?
No, they say aunt, but my grandmother is from New Orleans, and
Okay.
she made me say aunt.
Okay.
She was like, what you're not going to do is sound like these other people.
Yeah.
Okay? You're going to pronounce all of the syllables.
Right.
Now, you said that 10 years ago, you all saw some signs. Let us know what that means. Because a lot of times, people who are tuning into our podcast, they're newbies. And maybe no one in their family has ever had Alzheimer's. And they don't know what the signs look like. How can you tell the difference between, hey, my mama is just, she had a bad night's sleep and just can't find her purse, versus, this looks like what auntie had or what uncle had.
Yeah. Repeating things, beginning to have more repetition of, phrases, statements, questions. With our mom, it was more of the short-term memory that went immediately. She could remember things from 20 years ago, but couldn't remember, what happened an hour ago. So we began to see a lot of that. And then, as it progresses, you get more into the frustration, not really remembering how to do certain tasks. The mood changes. Thankfully, my sister, and it's just the two of us, is a mental therapist, licensed professional counselor, I should say, by trade and profession. So she is very knowledgeable, of the clinical side of these types of diseases, and we share in the caregiving task. And I don't know what I would do without her. So, Ayana, I love you. But yes.
Oh,
so
Ayana and Aisha, okay.
that part.
That sounds like
yes.
a song.
Well, our parents, my sister was born in the 70s, I was born in the 80s. So, I'm named after the Stevie Wonder song.
Nice.
Aisha, Isn't She Lovely? That's about his daughter named Aisha. Yes. And I don't know where they got Ayana from, but it means love.
No, you didn't, bro. No, you didn't, bro.
Or something like that. But yes, we are Ayana and Aisha, very 80s, 90s, New York City names.
Love it.
But yes.
Okay, as your mom was struggling with tasks, what are a few examples of the tasks? Were they like household tasks? Was she still working? Was she driving? Was she in New York? Was she in Atlanta?
Yeah, so she was in New York. My mom was born in the South Carolina, but had been living in New York since she was 18 years old. Back in the day, they graduated high school and they were out of there.
Got the hell out of here.
She followed her older sisters and brothers and came up to New York and started working. So she has that good Southern roots, but very much a city girl. And to this day, is still very much a city girl. We did eventually move her here to Georgia, but she it was not without kicking and screaming. Okay. And so she was not working because she had been with her company for over 39 and a half years to be exact. Okay. And they laid off everyone. they eliminated the department and they were moving everyone to another state. My mom was like, I'm not going.
That's
so
right.
she actually had just, left that role, retired, or, early from her job. She worked for MetLife Insurance Company, processing death benefits for federal employees. Okay. And then she did some little part-time work here and there. And then that's when we began to see some of the challenges with the memory and the tasks and just remembering, how to do certain things around the house, like where she put certain things. It was a lot of misplacing things, a lot of I can't find.
This was after she retired?
Yes.
It became more obvious to you?
Yes.
Was that,
absolutely. She was perfectly fine while she was still working.
You know what? I have seen that be the case so often. Well, I shouldn't say I've seen. I have heard the feedback when the routine changes.
Yeah.
It seems to become more prevalent.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
family members or medical professionals, which in your case, with you and your sister, that's both.
Yeah.
Family members
Right.
and medical professionals to say, hey, maybe like the routine for our LOs who may have some form of dementia is like duct tape. It's kind of holding them together and keeping them together. And when you start to change however they were going to work or maybe the church or whoever, if their neighbors move or whatever they used to do on a daily basis, those things, rather than saying, oh man, look at this new way I get to live, it's more like, oh hell, what do I do now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the routine definitely, even now at this stage of her disease, which is advanced, routine still matters, right? Like it's very important to keep a routine to help them to just be in the best space possible in terms of mood, in terms of, just cognitive, function. So as much as possible, we try to keep a routine with her. We learned, you do a lot of trial and error, and we've learned that keeping a routine works best. Yeah.
So who told her, hey, mama, you got it?
So, it's so funny to see how the disease manifests itself differently in different people, right? So with my aunt, she never really embraced or accepted the fact that she had the disease.
Okay.
Was very defensive and, did not ever really accept it. My mom, when she began to notice it, I guess because we had just gone through it with her sister, she was much more verbal about it and aware of it. So she would tell us.
Really?
Absolutely. She
What's
would
your
say,
mama's name?
Marie.
Let me tell you something. Shout out Marie. Okay, I'm hoping that the universe is sending love offerings from J Smiles to Mama Marie. I have not heard.
Listen, you need to take this show on the road to Marie, okay? Because she a riot, okay?
Well, listen, we gonna come to Marie. We gonna schedule with you,
honey.
Listen, we do travel, don't we, team? Listen, me and my team will travel.
She's amazing.
Because can we borrow your light?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Because no, seriously, the that is uncommon.
Yeah.
Okay, for a person in the early stages to actually say to their children, "Hey, something is happening.
Yeah.
It's not quite right. I think I might be struggling with dementia."
And I mean, she didn't necessarily call it that,
Right?
But she was definitely saying, I'm beginning to lose, forget things.
Good for
one of
her.
her phrases she would say is, "My mind is going from me," things like that.
That's cute.
So, so she definitely knew that it was happening. And it made her very sad, of course, but she definitely...
that made me sad the way you said it.
Yeah.
But that's sweet, though.
She's a sweet lady. Yeah. So that, I thank God for that, actually, though, because I think it helped. I know it helped, us to begin her caregiving because there wasn't any resistance.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Whereas with our aunt, on the other hand, there was resistance, and it was just the way that she dealt with it, of no fault of her own. Everybody deals with it in different ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with mom or your aunt or your uncle, are there stories or remembrances that you have that lean into a more humorous or lighthearted side? Here at the Parenting Up podcast, Jay Smiles comedy. We really hope to help, especially newbies, say, listen, yes, this shit is hard. But there are bright spots where you can say, you know what, that was kind of funny. And and thank you to the universe for that moment where I could laugh, I could hug my LO and get through to the next moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I said my mom is a riot. Because even to this day, I mean, she's hilarious. You never know what's going to come out of her mouth at any moment. And I tell my sister all the time, like, we have to thank God for these moments, right? Because there are so many hard moments.
Yeah.
So when you do get a good moment, when you do get a funny moment, you have to thank God for it. And so there are many. I mean, the beautiful thing about our family, we're very close-knit. Back in Brooklyn, we all grew up in the same house, right? Okay. So my uncle had a 3-family home, not the one that had Alzheimer's, but another uncle. And so my mom and dad and my sister and I were on the top floor. My aunt, who had Alzheimer's, on the second floor. The uncle who owned the home was at the third floor. But then everybody came over at all different times, right? And so we were very close. So we've got a lifetime from our childhood until we left that home just a few years ago, of memories, of good times. And a lot of that character, a lot of that fun and liveliness is still in my mom. You know, if you put some music on, she gonna cut a rug and not think twice about it. She loves to dance. She loves music. She loved men. Her and my dad were married for 46 years or something like that. And so my dad passed away a couple of years ago in 2023. And then that's when our caregiving really kicked it up a notch, because we had to, take over 100%. You know, we were always there helping, but really take over 100%. And so she still talks about him and, things we don't want to hear, and how we got here and all of that. And so, child, she a trip. She is a trip. I'm telling you. Please bring this show to a retailer, okay?
Oh, baby, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Don't you worry about that. You're gonna say, stop texting me, Jay Smiles. I said we gonna set this up later. Hey, what's up, Parenting Up family? Guess what? Have you ever wanted to connect with other caregivers? You want to see more behind the scenes footage? Want to know what me and Zeddy are doing? I know you do. All things Jay Smiles are finally ready for you. Even when I go live. Do it now with us on Patreon. Join us in the Patreon community. Catch everything we're doing. Visit patreon.com/Jay Smiles Studios with an S. Beautiful. What are the best way for me to put this is for you and your sister. It's not all. It sounds like you all have divided the roles fairly well, or you manage caring for your mom well as a team. You don't always hear that. How y'all do that?
So it has a lot to do with the way we were raised. Okay. Right? We
Shout out to Mama again,
and Grandma, and we were just raised right. Like our family, and it runs through our family. So while my sister and I, are primarily responsible, really our whole family, whenever asked or needed, or sometimes without being asked or needed, will pitch in and help. So we are very grateful and thankful. We were taught by our grandmothers, you always stick together. You let nothing come between you. And that has stayed true to our family. This business is here because of my family. I would not be able to do any of this work without my family. So I know a lot of people have that testimony that, they can't work with family. That is not my testimony.
I know that's right.
And I'm thankful. I thank God for that. So so it was just, it was no question.
Right.
Like when my parents were living in New York, and I was in New York and then in New Jersey, I was closer. So I did most of the, daily things that they needed or whatever. But anything I couldn't do, especially, so we kind of, all the medical stuff I give to my sister, right? Yeah. So all the appointments, the insurance questions, because that's her area of expertise, any other regular tasks, grocery shopping, whatever, I would do, getting mommy's hair done, whatever. Right. We just did it, didn't even think twice about it, because we all we got, right? And there's no reason why one of us should have to bear the burden alone, and then when we moved my parents down here, at the time I was still living in New Jersey. So then it became more on my sister, right? And that ultimately really was the reason why I moved to Georgia, so that I could help with my parents, because they were getting older. My mom's condition was worsening. My dad began to have some health challenges, and I saw it was just becoming a lot on my sister. So that was really why my family and I ended up moving here. Yeah.
And have you regretted any of this?
Oh, no, never. Not at all. Not at all. It was the best decision, especially once my dad passed away. I couldn't imagine having to navigate that remotely, not being in the same place with my sister. My sister and I are extremely close, and for most of our lives, we have lived separately. So when she graduated from high school, she went away to college, and then she moved here.
Okay.
And then a couple of years later, I graduated from high school. I went away to college, and then I moved back to New York. So we were living separate longer than we were living together.
Right.
So this is the first time in our lives that we've been living, close again. We're 10 minutes apart from each other. Yeah, girl, she be in my pantry all the time. I be cracking jokes with her. Like, girl, what are you doing over here again? But that's just the fun jokes that we have. We see each other all the time now, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
that's
and we can do this work together. She actually just started a caregiver group. It was on her heart for several years, and so she started a caregiver support group called Take Care.
Okay, how do you spell that?
Take Care, TAKECARE. Take Care. You can find a group on Facebook. It's in its early stages. She just launched it a couple of weeks ago, but we're very excited about that, and I'm happy to support her in that venture the same way she has supported me in all of mine. Because she just really understands the weight of being a caregiver and wanted to provide some support for others. So yeah,
I love that. Okay, so you hear that? You hear that? Parenting Up family, Take Care, regular spelling, and tell her thank you for that. Okay, sometimes people, right? I'm like, but how you put a Z in Take Care? The Z is silent. Right. Yeah, hell yeah, it's silent. It's so silent. I ain't gonna never find your page, baby.
Yes, no. Take Care Caregiver Support Community on Facebook. We would love to have you join us, and we'll be doing more in the months and years to come. But just getting started, but really we've already gotten a great response because there's so many out there.
Absolutely.
And she, like you mentioned, the sandwich generation, which we both are part of. Both of us have young children. My nephew is 12. My son is 4. And then my we have our elders, and then there's so many other types of caregivers, right?
Yes.
So not just Alzheimer's, that's the one we hear about the most, but it manifests in so many different ways.
It absolutely does. Yeah. A few more questions about your mom, just to see how that could assist some other people in our community. Does your mom live with either of you? Is she in a facility?
So she is in a facility.
Okay.
When my dad first passed away, we immediately, of course, moved her in with us.
Okay.
And she was splitting her time between the two of us because my son is smaller and needs more, assistance with getting ready for school and that kind of thing. She would be with my sister during the week, and then she would be with me on the weekends. And this is when that routine thing comes into play, because, to put it simply, it was not working. The back and forth, the constantly switching of homes, of routines, of surroundings, did not do well for my mom. She began to have a lot of mood swings and just a lot of challenges. And it also became dangerous because she was trying to leave, and, it just was, she became more combative. So we kept her with us as long as we could.
Understood.
As long as it was safe, as long it began to affect us because she would literally be up all night, would not sleep. So we were not sleeping. We both had to work. So we kept her home as long as we could. At that time, we found like a day center that she was able to go to, but it was just for a few hours a day. Yes. Then we tried to get someone to come into the home. Hot mess, totally unreliable, would just not show up. We'll get it, that's all.
That's right. That's another.
I'm trying to be positive
part
today.
That's part 2 of our discussion with Sora Aisha.
Yeah. So ultimately, we had to make a very difficult decision.
Yes.
To place her in a facility, she's in a memory care facility, so not a nursing home, but similar, right? Yes. In a memory care facility, we tried to find the best one that we could and that we could afford, and it was the best thing we could have ever done. It was the best thing we could have ever done for her, and for us. She has adjusted so well. And again, the routine, because they have a routine.
Yes.
It's a consistent surrounding for her. So a lot of the outbursts, the aggression that we were seeing when she was with us completely went away. Now it's very sporadic, if even at all, very rare. So her mood is so much better. Her health she's doing well, health wise, no other major health conditions or anything like that. And then it also just gave us some peace, to be able to get back to some sort of routine for ourselves too. So, yeah.
Peace is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I champion caregivers for finding what works best for you and your LO.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the LO needs to be with a family member or in a facility, and then what type of facility, and then where, and in which city, and closest to which family
Right.
member. All of that is very specific to the circumstances at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it warms my heart to hear that you all found something that works for everybody involved.
Yeah.
You speaking about your mom being so much calmer, do you know, is there any medication they've given her that might be helping with this calmness?
Yeah, she's on, and this is one of my sister questions. Really.
Okay, all right.
We should have had her here.
Yeah.
So she's on medications.
Okay.
Obviously, most patients,
Yes.
most elders are, but
Right.
dementia, Alzheimer's patients. So she is on medications, and we work very closely with her medical team. She has an amazing doctor who is great with Emory, Dr. Remelina. Absolutely love him. So he specializes in geriatric care and in the diseases of the brain and that kind of thing. So I think they help. And I do also think that, and again, everybody's situation is so different. So I hate to give anyone a false hope,
Yeah.
but I believe that in my mom's situation, while there is no cure, right, I do believe that the medications may for her have slowed things down a bit, because there was a good span of years where there was no progression.
Okay.
Right, where it was just kind of steady, kind of consistent. And we were like, okay, she has this, but she's still able to do a lot of things. And it really wasn't until maybe, 7 years in or 8 years in, when then we kind of saw a bit of a decline. And then we would make some adjustments and, so, yes, she's on medication. I think it helps. Obviously, it doesn't cure it. And they do have different mood medications and things like that too. But I think the real contributing factor is the routine.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to wrap this up.
Okay.
And this has been so fantastic. But we have 2 points to make before we wrap this up.
Yes.
First is we close everything out with a segment we call the Snuggle Up.
Okay.
Right? And it's mostly something I made up, so Aurora. I'll
Okay.
go ahead and tell you that, right? It's basically, the concept is, as a caregiver, if you would go ahead and snuggle up to this idea,
Mm-hmm.
it will make your journey as a caregiver easier. What snuggle up would you give as a suggestion to people?
I think what we talked about earlier, which was really savoring the good times, right? Like trying to find that glimmer of hope or joy,
Okay.
even in this seemingly sad and depressing situation, and really holding on to those,
Yeah.
right? So at any time, my sister and I could be talking and just start cracking up about something mommy said last week or this morning. Sometimes we'll even text each other like, girl, you will not believe what your mother just said. So I think that really helps to balance out some of the mental and the emotional stress and strain that come along with being a caregiver. It's just embracing and remembering the good times,
Yes.
and even I know, again, some situations are different. So some people may not have seen times like that in a while.
Right.
But if you can just go back, to remember who they were, how they were, the love and the joy that you shared, and hold on to that, and give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Give them grace.
Yes.
Right? Give
Yes.
them grace.
Yes.
Because most people who need caregiving did not sign up for it. And so
What You better say that 18 times.
Give them grace and give yourself grace.
Yes. What was your line number?
54.
Okay. What? I'm the first part of that number.
Really?
I'm a 5.
Okay.
Okay. So now, the good. Let everyone know how they can find and support the Sister Shop. Okay, wait. Let me tell y'all why it's so great. She's gonna tell y'all where to find it, but let me tell you why it's so great. It is unique brands by women that are Black and of color. And the stuff is funky and fly and fresh and great. And she owns the distribution channel. And now tell them where you can find it.
Okay, that was good. Yes, so the Sister Shop is your e-commerce destination where you can shop an exclusive collection of Black women-owned brands, and you can shop online at thesistahshop.com, spelled just like that, Sistah. So thesistahshop.com. We ship all across the U.S. We hope to be adding international shipping soon, so stay tuned for that. But also, our store is a part of our larger brand called Sistahs in Business, where we provide courses, coaching, community, all about helping Black women successfully start, grow, and scale their businesses. So be sure to join our mailing list so you can get updates on the different opportunities that we have available for our sisters to win in their business. Because when my sister wins, we all win.
You were supposed to do woo at the end.
Oh, my bad. I was waiting for you to say we all win.
Oh, dang. Let's do it again.
Okay,
come on.
Because when my sister wins,
we all win.
We all win. Woo!
I love it. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I can't wait to do this again.
Yes. With Marie.
You. Honey, I'm doing it with Marie first, and then I'm going to do it back with you second.
I'm going to show you some pictures of video of her. You're going to see what I'm talking about. She's too much. I am standing here in the Sister Shop. I love this journal. For those who are listening on the audio, it is a bold yellow journal. I am blessed, beautiful, enough, strong, confident, love, powerful. Okay? I don't even know if I feel all these words every day, but if I read them, I'm like, hell yeah. Yes, I'm EndAlz. And then look. Okay, I'm a Capricorn. All right? I knew you were a Capricorn when, ... I don't even care what's on the inside of this card. The fact that it starts with, I knew you were a Capricorn when, lets me know that it's positive. And hell yeah, if you know I'm a Capricorn, I already like you. This store is so dope. There are hats. Okay, anyway, I'm going to stop right now, y'all. This is the point. Go to thesistahshop.com. And sister is spelled Sistah. Deuces. The Snuggle Ups. Number 1. Listen. If someone in your family has already been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, just one person, I need you to go ahead and think about what were their precursor activities. Were they forgetful? Did they hallucinate? Did they have a hard time driving home after work? Write those activities down. What were they presenting that was different years before the diagnosis? Make a mental note. Put it somewhere, because that could happen to you later. It could happen to someone else in the family. And there's no reason to have to reinvent the wheel. Perhaps your DNA is going to tell you later, it could be you, or maybe auntie, or maybe a cousin. Listen, y'all, we don't have to depend on the internet for everything. Sometimes when you know more, do better. Number 2, rebuke guilt. If you are giving care to anybody, whether it happens to be a LO or a neighbor,
Hey, you are doing the best you can. You dug in and you accepted responsibility. Don't bother at any point to then feel guilty about, oh man, they used to live with me, now they're in a facility, or they're not living with me, they're living with a neighbor, or they're living with another family member. I bet I used to maybe be able to do more. No, you're doing the best you can. You know how? Because that's all you got. And that's okay. Do not find a way to feel guilty about the part that you're not doing. We don't have time for that. Whatever you're giving today or yesterday is enough. Tomorrow you might have more, but we don't even care about tomorrow yet. Just take care of today. Number 3, keep living. That's the biggest thing that I got from today's guest, my soror Aisha. She moved from another state. She is managing being her mom's caregiver. She opened a brick-and-mortar store. She is encouraging other entrepreneurs to live their dreams through brands, t-shirts, greeting cards, pajamas, furniture. She has a baby. Okay, not a baby, he's 4. This is the point. Keep living. Her mom would want her to keep living, but she's 10 toes down in both sides of the coin. So you can do it too. She's no different than you, and neither am I. Every day, you may not have the same amount of energy. That's cool. That's cool. Sometimes you need a nap. Other times you can run a marathon. Don't beat yourself up.